Do.
My what?
Say you switch to D scale, you don't use D as your do. You don't float.
Oh, you mean the movable do?
But yeah, I call it floating do.
No, don't introduce that. We have too many labels already. Now you're bringing another label.
Like,
Floating, no.
okay.
Everybody, I understand everybody wants to contribute their own, leave a
No,
legacy.
I'm just trying to question.
Use the terminology in place because you waste time when you explain to them, well, I meant to say this.
Okay, movable
That's
do.
a waste of 10 seconds. The 10 seconds multiplied by 1,000 people you're going to talk, it's going to be 10,000 seconds a waste of time. So use the whatever official language.
Movable do.
Yeah, use that term and people know immediately you're referring to this, that's my recommendation. But I'm glad we're able to discuss this. So no, we don't, there's nothing incompatible about movable do. It's a different reference point and we don't need to discuss it right now. But movable do versus fixed do is a totally different approach to learning music, the functions, the tonic and all this. So, those are my friends.
Oh.
No, it's okay. They know I'm busy. No, you dropped the drink. I knew you were gonna do that. We don't need to make a mess.
Those are your friends? That's
Yes.
one of my bosses.
I gotta work now. So, let's turn the page now. Now comes the interesting part. And the third part, we're gonna go with the theory of intervals. So, the second part, now we're gonna turn to page 37. So, let's see if we have any questions. 7 parts, right? First part is the center, our reference point, A, 440 hertz, right? We find the tonal system we're in, the solar system, right? We sing a song in C major. Any song that you want in C major. Then we do some warm up with the scales. The three major, natural, harmonic, and melodic. The idea is to familiarize yourself like you're traveling with friends in the neighborhood of Do major. And you want to meet Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La. I speak a little bit like Mr. Rogers now, the neighborhood, So we did that. Then we want to kind of do combinations of sounds as a warm-up to the interval. So the fourth part we just finished was precisely naming the intervals, minor second, major second. But the third part, the warm-up, we call solmization, is just combining against Do, against Mi, against Sol, and against Do. And we do. Passacaglia. Same thing, combinations with those two sounds in the D minor or Re minor, right? So we're taking the concept of swimming in the Do major scale. Now you say it, and you see it, and you hear Do, Re, Do, Mi, Do, Fa, Do, Sol, Do, La, Do, Si, Do, La, Do, Sol, Do, Fa, Do, Mi, Do, Re, Do. Then you do it against Mi. Mi, Re, Mi, Do, Mi, Re, Mi, Fa, Mi, Sol, Mi, La, Mi, Si, Mi, Do, Mi, Si, Mi, La, Mi, Sol, Mi, Fa, Mi, Re, Mi, Do. Against Sol. Sol, Fa, Sol, Mi, Sol, Re, Sol, Do, Sol, Re, Sol, Mi, Sol. Sol, La, Sol, Si, Sol, Do, Sol, Si, Sol, La, Sol, Fa, Sol, Mi, Sol, Re, Sol, Do. Do, Si, Do, La, Do, Sol, Do, Fa, Do. Re, Do, 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 Re, Do, Mi, Do, Fa, Do, Sol, Do, La, Mi, Si, Do. Do, Sol, Mi, La, Mi, Sol, Do. You feel like you're in Do major, you're oozing Do, right? Then you go and you find out where are the minor seconds. On step 3. Where are the major seconds? On all the other steps, because there's only 4 steps, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. So if the minor second is on step 3 and 7, what steps are left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So when we have a major second and a minor second, we're going to go into that immediately with the theory of intervals. There's a very simple rule. Once you get that rule, you say, oh, I got it. If I only have 2 minor seconds, well, 7 minus 2 makes
5.
So here they are. Voila. This applies to all the intervals. So if I have a minor third, there must be a major third, right? Let's see how many minor thirds we have. That's a major, that's a minor, that's a minor, that's a major, that's a major, that's a minor, that's a minor. So we have step 2, step 3, step 6, step 7. 7 minus 4 makes 3 that are going to be in the major. So you just learned a new principle. If there's only 2 minor seconds in the C major scale, there must be 5 major. And guess what? The same rule applies in Sol major, it applies in D major, it applies in any key. The structures do not change. We're going to cover that, and that's why the manual was added there for a couple of dollars.
That's in the manual?
That's the big manual. That's the golden book, and that explains all these mathematical symmetries and relationships and things like that. So now the fun part starts with the chords. Can everybody recognize if I play this? Can you tell me if this is major, minor, diminished, or augmented? What does it sound to you? Pardon me? Major. It sounds major. Does it sound major to everybody?
No.
Does it sound major to you?
Yeah, it was C, E, G major.
That's not G major, that's C major.
No, C, E, G. That's what it was.
Right? What about now? What does that sound to you like? Happy, sad?
Medium.
Well, when you say sad, it's usually minor. Finish happy, the sun came out, right? Right? You feel the difference. So, music, this is a very important concept. You can write down, you can watch it on video, that I didn't really write it down in the actual manual here. Music is the art of tension, feelings, right? Love Story, right? 1969. So, tension. Question. A little sun is coming out. What will happen? Down and set. Sad. Hope. Major. I'm not sure where this is going, but it's going good now. Watch. Suffering, pain, happiness, all with major, minor, and then there is, I don't know what's going on. All the scary movies have this diminished chord. And then there is the Debussy chord. The ethereal, the augmented chord. So in music, in the tonal system, you can only have through 4 types of combinations of thirds. The third interval, the major and the minor. These are the Legos for chords, fundamental principle. So the major third and the minor third are the building blocks for any chord. So if I do this, all I'm doing is I'm putting thirds together like a whopper, a triple decker, a quintuple decker. doesn't matter. Those are all the jazz chords that we know. They're made of major thirds with minor thirds in combinations. And we're going to study that also. As you turn the pages, you'll have the theoretical part and the exercise part. And all is explained mathematically. You're going to like this. All the possible combinations of major, minor, and what they create in reality. So now let's go back to our page 37. And we're going to do it exactly as a student does it. And we're going to say part 5, page 37. Part 5, building triad. You can say it out loud. Part 5, building 3 triads in 3 positions each in the major natural mode. Does everybody know what the concept of positions is? The positions. So, do you know what rotation of sounds means? Or inversions, root position? Okay. So, in music, again, it's math, simple math. And if you need extra assistance, tutoring, we have Lois over there. She's a math expert. So, in music, if I have these 2 notes, how many ways can I mix these 2 notes? Remember the ouch interval? Remember this? And then I said, well, the same thing is upside down now. It's the same 2 notes. There's only 2 ways to mix these sounds. The bottom goes to the top. This one is called the bottom note. This one's called the top note. But what if I want to make the bottom note go to the top? I will put it here. And the top note becomes the bottom. So mathematically, there's only 2 possibilities. Like this. Right?
Yes.
Is that, am I close to the truth?
Sounds good to me.
Thank you. Well, coming from a mathematician means I'm not very good at math, but yeah. So basically, with 2 sounds, 1, 2, you can only do either 1, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, and 2, 1. Right? But when you want to combine only 1 and 2, there's only 2 combinations. 1, 2, 2, 1. Like computer language, 0, 1. What do you get? How many combinations? 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, 0. But for the purpose of music, when we want to use only these 2 sounds, you can only have 0, 1, 1, 0. Okay? We're not talking about directionality where we go up and down. We're talking about positioning, which is another concept. So, these 2 sounds can only be played in two different ways. There's nothing else. You can do it backward. That's what you have. But when you have 3 sounds now, here's what happens. The principle is taking the bottom note, we call this the bottom note, the middle note, and the top note. Simple enough, right? When you take the bottom note and you put a perfect octave on top, the middle note becomes the bottom, the top note became the middle, and the bottom note became the top. That's called rotation. Then when you take this note and you throw it an octave higher, this note becomes the bottom. It's the same chord, but the order of the sounds changes. This becomes the bottom, the middle, and the top. In music, we call these inversions because you're using the same 3 notes, what we call an arpeggio for pianists. That those are the only 3 possibilities. For composers, people that write music, we call this root position or the original position. First inversion, also written as 6/5 because of the 6/3. The relationship between the bottom and the top is a 6 and a 3. And second inversion, also written as 6/4. 6 and 4. Everything is in relation. Let's do it again. So this is called root position 5/3. That means this is the 5th note, 5 and 3. Oh, everything is written down, and 3. So everything is written down even underneath the notes, so you'll be practicing this. So let's go through the major triad on steps 1, 4, and 5. I'll wait for Masami to finish.
I thought I did this wrong.
How did you do it wrong?
I did this wrong.
No, you didn't.
But I was trying to get the symmetrical.
Okay, I'll do it on the other side for you.
That's where the symmetrical comes from, right? The way.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And I thought mine doesn't make sense.
It's okay.
I did it wrong.
It's okay. Got it. I did a circle for you here, I did it like this, I did it like this, like this.
Okay.
So 114, 213, 312, you know,
Okay.
it goes
Right.
ascending and descending, it's very simple. So let's sing a little bit, 37, ready? So I'm gonna say that out loud, if you wanna join in, that's fine. The major triad on steps 1, 4, and 5. On step 1, page 37.
Okay.
You good? I'm saying it again. The major triad on steps 1, 4, and 5 in root position on step 1. Do, mi, so, mi, do. Listen. This is called closed voicing because you cannot squeeze any more sounds in between these three. And this is called open voicing over here. That means I can put another sound here. So open voicing is like in the orchestral arrangement. I can play like this, or I can play. It's the same chord. That's called open voicing. Closed voicing, I'm bringing them as close as possible. I cannot squeeze them any closer. But if I do this, I can put another G here, I can put another E here. That's called open voicing. So you learn another theoretical thing. No more talking, we start from the top. Step 1, root position, 5-3. Do, mi, so, mi, do. Close voicing. Open voicing. Major triad on step 1, first inversion. Mi, so, mi. Close voicing. Major triad on step 1, second inversion, 6-4. Close voicing, open voicing. Third page. The same major triad on step 4 now, root position. On step 4. Oh, there's a typo here. It shouldn't be, yeah, we never changed this. We have a page that explains the typos. They didn't correct this. You should correct this. Because where it says listen, it says 1 3 5 5 5 3. It should be like it says next one 4 6 1 1 6 4. So you can change that on your own. I'll give you the. You notice that where it says sing, it says 4 6 1 1 6 4. That's the correct one.
Oh.
So this is a typo. When they did this for me, it should be 4 6 1 1 6 4. Do you need a pen?
No.
You got one, yeah.
They both should read the same thing, in other
Well,
words.
they're identical, but it's a mistake.
Okay.
1 3 5 would be do mi sol, so that's wrong. It's a typo. Did you understand that, Felicitas? Yeah, right here, though. Look. So this is step 4. It should be 4
Okay.
6 1. This is a typo. This would be do mi sol. This is wrong. It's 4 6 1 1 6 4. Did you get that?
Eventually.
I don't want to mark this book because this one.
This is your
No, no,
Okay.
This one's yours.
So make a note here when you go to page, whatever page. Yeah, I'll explain it to you later.
I can figure it out.
So that's an error. We gotta change that. But we didn't change it in the beginning. Anyway, so let's go to the major triad, step 4. Listen, close voicing, open voicing. First inversion. Close voicing. Second inversion, 6/4. And on step 5, the dominant. Sol, si, re, si, sol. First inversion. Si, re, si, sol, re, si. First and the second inversion. Re, si, sol, re, si. The minor triad. All right, so that's the minor triad now on steps 2, 3, and 6. Very good. Let's go to page 43. It's going to be the diminished triad, and we close with the triads. The triad, the diminished triad, is only on step 7, page 43, right?
Okay.
In root position 5/3. Si, re, fa, fa, re, si. 5/3, root position closed, open. First inversion. solar system of do, re, mi in the neighborhood. Then comes combinations with 4 notes. So what I want to do now, as you're relaxing a little bit, I'm going to put up the thank you, I want to describe something for you, so you have a visual concept. By the way, anybody has any questions? Now is the time to ask some questions if you had some notes or.
I have a question.
Oh, look how organized you are. I love your handwriting. Wow.
Are there errors on this page also?
Yeah, are there? No. No. The error was here where you made the note.
I made the note here.
That's right. This.
But these are different also.
Yeah, 17 and 21 are
Yeah,
different
I
also.
guess they gave me the wrong PDF. Yeah.
Oh, that's a wrong one.
Yeah.
So this is correct.
No, this is not correct. This is step 5.
Oh, neither one is
This is,
correct.
should be 5, 7, 2, 2, 7, 5. Okay, see, you're learning. Yeah, this was not, yeah, this is, the numbers are not good, the letters are good. All right,
Yeah, it is wrong.
you know, this is your homework for next time. Find all the mistakes now with the numbers.
That's what I do.
Yeah, the numbers are incorrect because, yeah. Well, I told them to change them, but they didn't. But the letters, everything is good. So this is step 2, step 5, 7, 7, because these are the numbers of the notes. 5,
Oh, yeah.
How
Two.
about here? That's wrong too.
yeah.
Maybe it's a homework. We have
Yeah.
to find out the wrong ones.
Yeah, we're focusing on the alphabet, do, re, mi, and actually, you know what? Do that as a homework if you'd like to fine tune the numbers. Yeah.
I have a question.
Pardon me.
Diminished means splatted fifth, but it also means splatted third in the triangle.
That's what I want to go over right now to help you a little bit because there's many ways to explain chords. And jazz musicians have a certain approach. Classical musicians have another approach. They're not incompatible. It's just that there are different ways of explaining.
Nomenclature.
Nomenclature, exactly. Nomenclature. So that's what we're doing. Let me see if I brought a piece of scotch tape. I need scotch tape. Yes, I did need scotch tape. Would you hold this for me for a second? Thank you so much. You're very helpful. Yeah. If I brought scotch tape, I'm a good person. Yeah, there's always typos and things like that. Here we go. So now what we're gonna do, I'm gonna do something fun for you. Thank you. Because I didn't bring the right tripod and all that.
Want me to move my stuff?
Nah,
I can do it.
nah. I like to improvise. You know, I'm a classically trained musician, but I like to improvise. Because if you don't know how to improvise, you freeze. What do I do? What do I do? You have to, you know, kind of like life.
It's almost like if you can't play all the notes, just play what you can. Or
Yeah, and get on the beat. Get on the beat.
You
Exactly.
play what fits in a word, but
Exactly.
sometimes
So here's what we're gonna do now. You know what? I gotta do this. Where did I put the scotch tape? Right here. Let me take another piece of paper. Because I know my wife always says, you're gonna get the wall dirty. Put 2 pieces of paper. Because you never know, the magic marker might go through it.
Oh,
Right? And then we don't, I don't wanna pay for the wall.
yeah.
Good. So here's what we're gonna do. Good. All right. Let me see if we can see all this. Good. Oh, you guys look very.
On the mirror, that would.
Huh?
Put it
What?
on the mirror, there's no chance you're gonna mess up the mirror. But,
The mirror.
yeah.
Okay. So we got this going. So here's what I want to show you right now. Okay. So we said that a chord. Can everybody see this? Is it big enough? Chord with 3 sounds is also called a triad. Makes sense, right? Most people call it a chord. Only people that deal with music theory, they call it triad. But people say, oh, give me a C major chord, and they play the 3 notes. But it's actually a triad. A 4-note chord is called a 7th chord. So when you have 4 sounds, we call that a 7th chord, right? 5 sounds equals a 9th chord. 6 sounds, 11, etc. We know that, right? Now, the building block for chords, triads, 9th chords, is the major second, and the major third, and the minor third. These are the building blocks. That's how we build chords. The third can be major or it can be minor, right? So when you have the combination, it's a math thing. So if you combine two major thirds, will give you this chord, this triad. The augmented triad, right? We call that the augmented triad. If you put a major third with a minor third, that's called a major chord. If you put a minor third with a major third, that's called a minor chord. And if you put two minor thirds, which is a symmetry between major and major, you will get the diminished. Now, so two major thirds, a major with a minor with a major, and a minor with a minor, that's the diminished. Now, musicians define, this is one way of defining triads. There's another way of defining triads in relationship to the fundamental note. So here's how it looks. Let me put this a little higher. All right, so we're gonna put this a little higher. Right, so let's say this is C, E, and G, or Do, Mi, Sol, right? Does everybody see this? So this is a major third, right? And this is a minor third. But musicians can look at it differently. That's one way of looking at it. And the other way we look at it is relationship with the fundamental. So in relationship with the fundamental, this is a major third. And this is a perfect fifth. So that's why we say that this chord is in root position, abbreviated 5-3. For musicians, 5-3 means that the chord is in root position, because it tells you the relationship that from the fundamental note, I have to have a perfect fifth and also a major third. So if I apply this structure of 5-3 on any note, and I do this, perfect fifth, major third. Or I can do it with the first version where I put a major third and a minor third. So there's two ways of building. You use either the Lego model, I call this the Lego model, and I call this the, I don't know, you can do it as the building model or whatever, but this uses the major third as your Lego with a minor third. This uses the fundamental note. This is, I guess, classical music theory, classical definition, where you're using the fundamental note as to measure the distance between the other two notes. So there's two ways. So if a musician says, well, a major chord is a major third with a minor third, is not wrong compared to someone who says, no, a major chord is a major third and a perfect fifth from the bottom. Both are correct. It's just a different way of looking at it. Okay, this one uses the bass note as the key to measure the distances. That's why when you invert this this is root position, this is first inversion, and this is second inversion. The distance between the bass note would be a 6. This is a sixth here. If you count the notes, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do. And this is a third. So we would define this as a first inversion, has the structure of 6-3. It's a sixth and a third from the bottom. Mi, do is a sixth. Mi, sol is a third in terms of steps. So, root position, the distance from do to sol is 5. So that's 5. And the distance from do to mi is 3. So we call that 5-3. First inversion we call 6-3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. 6, 3. Did you see that? And then the last one is called 6-4, because the distance between these steps is 6. That's a sixth, and this is a fourth. This is a third, and this is a sixth. So in music, second inversion is 6-4. But again, it's based, these are the possible combinations of the Legos, but musicians, jazz and classical, use root position 5-3, first inversion 6-3, second inversion 6-4. Doesn't matter what key you're on, you're finding it on your instrument, I understand that. Yeah, of course, everybody's with their own instrument. Any questions about this? It was a little fast. This is usually done over about 3 months. Any questions about this? I'm going to show you how we build the same thing. If you say 1, 5, 3 from E or mi, you have 5 and 3. Now, if I build 6-3 first inversion from mi, major chord, it would be a C. Pardon me?
The 3 on the first inversion is actually a minor third from the E. I don't think of it.
Yeah, but it could be major third also. But that's another conversation. Because we teach children how to build from one note as the axis, which is the opposite of, that's very advanced. So we teach children how to play from one note, a major chord in all 3 positions, where do becomes the root, do is the third, and do is the 5th. And you can do that with a minor. You can do it with the diminished. And you can do it with the augmented. The sounds don't change, they're enharmonic. So it's do, mi, sol, do, mi, la flat, do, fa, la flat, la flat. It has the same sounds, but they're enharmonic. But that's way, way, way advanced. We don't need to go into it now. Yes, ma'am.
No, I didn't say anything.
Everybody's quiet. I'm either boring you